Well, it seems we're back. This for an updated video on what we have recently discovered on the old sewers level. The one where the bounty is currently still available. We already know that you can clip through this door, like get a launch off of it. You can do some wacky stuff with the collision and the physics with this monitor that we have discovered. But one thing new that has been found is you can do a variation of the Rodney Christ in this level. I am using the robot's helper to assist me. I will let you know when I'm using it. As I was saying, the Rodney Christ was actually discovered in City Journey by Oscar. The way it is performed in regular levels is kind of the same as it is performed in this level. During the Rodney Christ, you want to get yourself close to a death trigger or some toxic water and then fall inside of it. But at the same time, the moment you die, you want to get out of it as well. So I will make a save state right here and I'm gonna try to perform it. This area is the one where it seems to have the highest success rate. So what we want to do is we want to roll forward, jump, and the moment we hit the side of the toxic sludge, we want to jump away from it so that we die at the same time that we are jumping. This is one attempt that I now did, but as you could see, it failed. We jumped out of the toxic water. You really only want to have like 1 to 2 frames that you are inside of it. If it is more than that, it seems that the game still registers it as you dying, even though you jumped out of it. Also interesting to note that the setup that I'm doing right now might not be the most efficient one, but it's one that gives me the best results. There we go. It took me a couple of tries, but as you could see, we barely hit toxic sludge and we jumped away from it. So we touched it, and the frame we touch it, we jump out of it. You hear the death sound like as if Rodney would die, but as you can see, we have 0 health. This Baldy Christ is actually pretty useless because now we can't do much. We can't float, gravity is still on. We are basically just at 0 health. You can still pick up health, you can play the game as normally. I do not know what happens if you would complete the level with 0 health. Maybe something interesting will happen. We still have to investigate that. But I'm gonna try and jump over this fire. Yes, okay. Like as you can see now, we did die a second time. As far as we know, this does not do much. It doesn't change anything. I just wanted to show it off to see that you are actually not invisible, and even though you have 0 health, you still can die. Some interesting stuff can happen when an enemy kills you while activating a button of the computer screen, but I think Oscar is the one that will show that off. Now I'm using the robot's helper, and this is just purely theoretical. I'm gonna kill myself and I'm gonna touch the fan. And by doing this, so this is purely theoretical and I am using the robot's helper. The moment you die, it takes a couple of seconds before the fade out happens to then enter the loading screen, restarting you from a checkpoint. However, if you fully die, not during the Rodney Christ, but if you fully die, your movement being disabled, that is why we are using the robot's helper, and then touch this fan, that death event is cancelled because Rodney is now doing another event, and it re-enables your movement again. We haven't pulled this off yet in real time. This is purely like cheating that we're doing. It is interesting. If you were to pull this off and then, for example, touch the fire, you you immediately reload to the previous checkpoint. However, there is a variant to this glitch that I could not replicate, but if you were to do this weird Rodney Christ fan bug and then end up touching the fire again, you might have the chance to fully soft lock, that it won't fade out to the loading screen and that you cannot control Rodney anymore. So there are a lot of side effects to this whole Rodney Christ stuff in this level. Talking about the subject of dying in this level, we haven't found a way to get on top of this part yet, which would basically be the best way to completing the bounty. We did find an interesting thing regarding dying by the fire and then touching the death trigger below. Let's get ourselves to 1 health, and what we want to do if we're at 1 health, we want to back off and then jump over the railing, getting hit by the fire, landing on top of the death trigger, and you'll see what happens. Alright, let's line ourselves up. There we go. So if we die by the flame, you saw that midair the ball does not explode. The ball can only explode if you're dead while being grounded, so while touching either any piece of geometry, and including a trigger, and including a death trigger apparently. So that is why the moment we hit the death trigger, the ball exploded and we just stayed on top of it. The reason why the death trigger did not trigger, so that we technically would die twice, is it seems that Rodney, like the ball exploding and Rodney dying that way, has the highest priority of being executed. So it's just a fun little thing. I don't know if it's gonna be useful or not, but I wanted to show it off anyway. You can never have enough information about this level. Also, we have found multiple launches and clipping through the floor and stuff with this monitor. I think if you look at the Discord and the Discord chats, you will find multiple clips of people pulling such tricks off. It does seem that the physics behave different on the physical console versions, basically. The people who tested it out on the physical hardware, they got much better launches. And with better launches with this monitor, I mean being able to go above the roof and then trying to land on top of this this pipe. Is it any useful? As far as we know, no. There's also a lot of like getting inside of pipes and doing all kind of other stuff out of bounds and clipping into geometry. I think Oscar is the one who investigated most of that, and also other people in the Discord community who contributed to these findings. However, on PC, it is actually quite tricky to have decent launches from this monitor. It will require some more investigation, but as far as it stands now, it would not directly lead to finishing the bounty. But of course, I could be completely wrong in this. This is purely me speculating that this would not necessarily hold the answer. But again, we are not that much closer to finishing the bounty as of now. We did again found this amazing discovery of performing some type of like useless Rodney Christ mode. It's very sad that we don't start floating or the gravity is not disabled. That is because this level is purely based on physics. It works quite differently than the regular Rodney levels. It's of course this one ball level that is giving us a lot, like a big headache trying to skip it, trying to clip through that door. One last thing, I did post this in the Discord, but I wanted to mention it anyway in this video as well. The whole ceiling, as far as we know, has decent collision. However, this pipe has not, and the area above it also has no collision. It's a very small spot. I'm using the robots helper once again to help myself getting up here. But as you can see, you just roll through. It's a little opening in the ceiling. The theory was that, okay, maybe we get a launch from the door, like jump on top of the door while it's opening. Get a launch sideways, hitting this wall, and then getting like through the open piece of collision. And then like getting on top of the ceiling that way. No one has been able to pull such a trick off. It would also require so much luck, and it wouldn't be RTA viable anyway, but it doesn't hurt to try. On the Discord it was posted that if you lower your FPS to like 1 or 2 frames and roll against the door, you do clip through it. I haven't been able to replicate that, but it would in theory suggest that if we would have a way lagging the game or lowering the FPS without a third-party program, that it would be quite easy to clip through. That is it for now. I think I said everything I wanted to say in this video. As of now, these are the new discoveries. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the Discord. Link in the description below. And I see you in the next one.